Hello, my friend, and welcome to the Accountable Podcast. I am so thrilled that you are here with me today and for this super special series. Based on my framework and the research that I've done, I have identified three levels of accountability: personal, peer, and paid. And what I wanted to do in this series was interview someone for each of those types of accountability, why they use that accountability, and what you can expect, kind of how that type of accountability works. And when I was thinking about peer accountability, there was one example that rose to the top very, very quickly, and it was my friend Nancy. Nancy, I am thrilled that you're here today.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I have been so excited about this. Very appreciative of you.
Yeah, it has been so fun. So I'm going to give like a really quick overview so people understand kind of what the experience has been, and then we'll dive into it. But I was able to witness this. So you're my friend in real life, which is really, really fun. And I was able to witness you having an idea and then moving it into fruition. And not just once, but multiple times. It's become a very big success. By my definition, I think you're succeeding in this. And you have taken this idea of hosting a local event, and now it's happened many times, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But the cool part is that I was able to witness how you've taken the idea to the action. And so that's what I really wanted to dig into. And you've used peer accountability. You had a peer group. I am not part of that particular peer group that we're talking about, just clarification on that. And you have a peer group that really encouraged you to do that. So that's what we're talking about. But before we get into the nitty gritty of that, I am curious about your personality because that was part of the research that I did. And I'm curious, do you know your Enneagram or your Myers-Briggs or any of those that you'd like to share?
I love all of the personality information and whatever I can do, I'm going to do. So yes, I have a lot of different things and this kind of, when you asked me about my personality and to share that, this kind of helped me be a little reflective in
Oh, I love
the
that.
things that I am. So I loved that. I loved that opportunity. So the Enneagram, I'm a 2, I'm a helper, but I
Okay.
do have a 3 wing as an achiever.
Okay.
And then Myers-Briggs, I'm an ENFJ.
Oh, we're the same.
And are we the same?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my gosh,
I'm an
yes.
Enneagram
Okay.
3, but ENFJ on Myers-Briggs.
Okay. 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 And then have you ever heard of the Clifton Strengths Finder?
Yeah, that was part of the
Okay.
research too.
Okay. So in that, I have, it's 5 different strengths that are
Mm-hmm.
my top strengths. So it's arranger,
Mm.
futuristic, strategic, learner, and woo. So those
I love it.
are, so yes.
I love that. So amazing. So tell me, when you were doing your reflecting, what came up for you in terms of like looking at those types and how it's influenced how you take action in your life?
So it aligns so perfectly with what I'm doing now, as far
Mm-hmm.
as being a helper and being
Mm-hmm.
able to be a connector of
Mm-hmm.
women and help them, with through these gatherings to connect, learn, and grow.
Mm-hmm.
Those are all of my, arranging different activities,
Yeah.
helping women to see their potential, all in my wheelhouse. And I thought I'm truly living in alignment with who I am. And I love it. I
Oh
love
my
it.
gosh. And I can see the joy.
Yeah,
As your friend who just gets to sit and have lunch with you, which is such a pleasure, I can see the joy when you talk about what you're doing, which is so beautiful because there's so many people who do not find joy in their job, and you've created the job that you have joy with.
yes. And that is why I've created this, because I want people to know that they can have a job, have a career, have something that they are passionate about, that they will love waking up to do every day. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's important because sometimes people think, oh, that person's just lucky, or,
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could be more like them, and they can. And so I think it's important for people to know that they do have these passions deep down. And if they need to uncover them, they can do that. But I mean, it's such a fulfilling life when you are living in your passion.
I love it. And I love that you help other people do it. It is so beautiful. And that brings us to thinking about and talking about this event. So, this event is a paid offering. And I just want to make that really clear because I think a lot of times we think about doing something and taking it to fruition. We don't think about creating a new offering, right? And this actually grew your business. And this is something that you were not doing before. Like you did not have a paid event. And so you had this idea. And so I want to take it back to before the event was a thing. What was the impetus of this change? So at some point you were thinking about this and then you decided to do something about it. And I'm always curious about that moment. Is it a moment? Do you remember when you were like, this is going to actually go to fruition?
Well, okay. So because you know me, you know I have a lot of irons in the fire. I just gave up one commitment, one
Congratulations.
job yesterday. But so I have a lot of things going on. And I started the podcast really just out of trying to inspire people to find and follow their passion. And so I started the podcast with no other plan. I hate to say that. I didn't have any other plan. I just started the podcast, wanted to talk to different people and get the word out there about these people and help try to encourage others. And so through that, through the podcast, friends of mine and other people who have listened to the podcast would send me messages and say, I would love to get together with your community, the people who listen to the podcast. I'd love to see a live podcast. I'd love to ask your guest questions. And it, in my mind, I was thinking, well, that's kind of interesting. And so I kept getting that over and over. And so, as you know, I have a group of trusted friends, a small little circle. There are four of us. I think it was October or November of maybe even earlier of 2023. And I said, ladies, I've been approached and it's on my heart. And I had been saying, putting it to the side for a long time, but I said, it's on my heart to host an event. And I just had it as an event. That's all I thought.
Right.
It's on my heart. What do you all think? And they just jumped on it and said, you should do it. If you're thinking about it, I want to encourage you. How can I help you? How can I support you? I know this person. You could host it here. You could host it there. It just turned into something quickly. And so I decided to go ahead and host this event. And I do love hosting women and making them feel special and, just collaborating with others. And so I was able to host my first event in January of 2024. And you asked me to run the numbers. And to date, I have had 11 events
Wow.
with 459 people
My
attending.
gosh.
And I didn't run the numbers until you asked me about it. And then it's amazing to see that.
Yeah. 459 people. I didn't realize
Mhm.
there's been 11. I think I've been to almost all of them, which
I
is
think you
amazing.
have too. Yeah. Yeah.
And gosh, that's amazing, Nancy. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Idea was October or November of 2023, and you
Mhm.
had the first event in January of 2024. I think that's beautiful. I think it's awesome. Kudos to that peer group
Thank you.
that like they really encouraged you, and I'm curious to know what you think. Had you not spoken that in that group, do you think that this would have happened?
No, it's funny. I really don't because they were the ones who, when people believe in you before you believe in yourself, even,
Yeah.
and I thought, I don't know if anybody would even show up,
Right. Of
you know,
course
who,
you thought that
th-
because you'd never done it
and
before.
yeah. And so, and then people, and you've probably seen this, people that come up with the excuse of, I'm really busy. But honestly, if you are meant to do that thing, then I think there are so many ways to be able to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And if you cannot figure it out, having trusted group of friends that help you, because all of the roadblocks I started encountering were on a group text. I would text them and somebody would pop in with, try this, call this person, do
Mm-hmm.
this, do this. And so it's almost like, honestly, once you put that out there, you're not getting off the hook.
It's accountability.
It's accountability. And I knew that was going to happen
Yeah.
because they're such cheerleaders anyway. So, because all of them.
Yeah.
But, I knew if I said something and I spoke it out loud, that I needed that encouragement. I
Mm-hmm.
needed that reassurance. They were there to provide that. And so here we are today.
I love it. And this is why you were the absolute person I wanted to talk to about peer accountability, because it can absolutely work. It's difficult. It's not the easiest. When I think about what is the easiest, it is paid accountability, because you're paying someone to ask you, are you doing what you said you were going to do? And I have the absolute pleasure of that being my job. And I love supporting people in that way. It's because you're paying, you have time and you have money invested. That is the easiest of the three. Peer is the next easiest, but you have to find people who are as committed as you in that same, like they're not doing the same thing as you, but they were committed to encouraging you to doing it. They're not dropping off or not being there when you needed them. So the accountability looks so different with peer. They're not checking in with you on a regular basis. They're not asking you about it. So you're doing a lot of the work. You're doing all the work, but when you need something, you had a place to go. So when you think about times that you've paid for masterminds and different groups and coaches, that sort of thing, therapist, versus this time with peer, do you know what the difference is for you in particular?
So honestly, I had this group prior to paying for a mastermind.
Mm-hmm.
So they were my group where I saw what could happen in my life if I was willing to push myself.
Oh,
And I realized that that is not their job. I'm not their job. I'm not their focus,
right.
but they are support, encouragement, provided guidance. But when you are paying, because even now, I don't think I'll ever not be in a paid group,
Mm-hmm.
because I need that accountability. I need that push. I need that growth.
Mm-hmm.
And so the peer group is very different.
Mm.
So now I'm in a paid group that does offer that constant push.
Mm-hmm.
And even out of, people talk about comfort zones and way, way out of a comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, this was kind of the start of where I realized if I had a group
Mm-hmm.
that could really push me, then what could I accomplish? And so I'm still a part of this group of women, and we get together and have lunch and brainstorm, and we do afternoon sessions where we talk about business, and I still do that, but we are all focused on our own things. And so to have this paid group that I'm a part of, I think is challenging me in such a different, deeper way.
That's beautifully said. I think a lot of people really struggle with that differentiating factor of how to do what and what feels best. And I like that you were like, it's really where you started, and you'll probably never not have that peer group, right?
Right.
Like you and I are a peer group. I reach out to you all the
Hmm.
time. Hey, Nancy, I've got this question, or you'll reach out to me. And we need those people in our life, but it is very different from the structure of paid. And so I appreciate how you differentiated that.
And it took me a long time, Amanda, to realize that the paid is because I was just thinking of it as an outlay of money, and
Mm,
it is an investment in yourself.
yeah.
And so just for me, that just kind of clicked. And
Hmm.
it's just been recently. It's just been honestly this year that I've
Right.
started that. And so it's been an amazing shift. And yeah, but I think that there are benefits to having, all the support that you
Oh,
can
yes.
get and in different ways, because the group that I'm in, the paid group, the mastermind, they don't live here. They're not coming to my events. It's very different. than my core group of friends who I'm seeing, who I'm having lunch with,
Mm,
who attend events, who can see things firsthand. It's very
mm,
different.
right. And this peer group, I just want to reiterate, like this peer group, you spoke out loud an idea, just an idea. You didn't have any details around it. It was just an idea. And they helped you, encourage you, helped you figure things out, all the things. And it led to the success of you've had 11 events, 459 people, 459 lives that have been impacted by these events, which is incredible. And there's more coming. You've got more coming this year. Like it's not even stopping. So you're going to have more events. I'll make sure to link everything in the show notes because of when this is coming out. But you have things that are still coming and I think that's incredible. And so I just wanted to highlight you and the peer group that you're a part of and showcase what peer groups, peer accountability can actually help someone. So if someone is listening to this and they're like, "Ooh, this is striking a chord with me. I really like this idea of utilizing a group." And that woman is listening and she's got that idea. It's burning inside her. And she's like, "How can I find that peer group? Or what steps should I take? What would you encourage her to do today? Not tomorrow, but today."
Today, I would say to reach out to somebody and let them know what you're thinking about. And sometimes people don't have anybody in their immediate circle, but
Mhm.
they have a friend who might know somebody. So
Mm.
if you reach out to a trusted friend and say, I'm wanting to pursue such and such, or I'm interested in who do you know? Because
Mm.
everybody knows somebody. And it's amazing. They might say, my friend who lives in Oklahoma City is doing
Mhm.
the same kind of thing. And I've been thinking
Right.
about connecting you two and just haven't. I'm so glad you asked. So I think if you reach out to one or two or a handful of people, let them know what you're doing and form, your own peer group.
Mhm.
There is so much that can happen with like-minded women. And you want to have others, and Amanda, you know this as well. You want to have others who are on the same page, who are
Mm.
looking to grow something. They also want to be encouraged because it's a two-way street.
Mhm.
The group who I am friends with, they all are also growing things and doing amazing things. And so if you make a call today, if you send a message through LinkedIn today, if you send a text that you've been holding out on and thinking
Mm.
about, maybe somebody you don't know well, send it today, hit send and see what happens because it's going to be exciting. And
Mm.
I think people are so kind and want to
Mhm.
be encouraging to others. And so it's going to be exciting for people to see how quickly they can grow that supported peer group.
I love that action. It's sending the message, which it will be exciting. And also, sometimes that's really nerve-wracking. And it's just saying, like, and I would say if you're feeling really stuck, because a lot of people will say, Amanda, I don't know what to say. And if it's a friend, it's like, okay, you can just be as casual as you would asking them to go to lunch. It's like, just tell them, like, hey, I'm looking to do this or whatever. If it's someone that you just want to connect with, I do this all the time with people. If someone's just interesting, I've met so many people at your events, Nancy, and I'm like, you and I should have coffee one day. And I just say, let's get it on the calendar. And we have coffee or we have lunch, and I see where that conversation goes. So that's for me a really nice intro, whether it's virtual or not. It's like, let's just get together and chat and see what happens. What would you suggest if someone is stuck with the words?
I think if they just reach out to the person and they say, I'm looking to build something, or I'm looking
Mm,
to connect, or I'm looking for to give support to people, but I'm looking for support. I think just letting them know kind of where you are.
mm-hmm,
I'm looking to build something,
mm-hmm.
something like that. I think that might help.
Yeah. Yeah. I think sharing the idea if you have it, or just simply saying, I want to connect with another entrepreneur or another woman professional, like where you are. It's like asking, because going back to what you said, you want to find someone in the similar space as
Hmm.
you and in that similar stage of growth or personal development, whatever it is. And it's like finding that person. I think that's great.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and I don't know. I think that it's easier to connect with people than they
Hmm.
think.
Yeah.
Just sending that text. I think people get scared to send the text. So just saying, I'm looking for some growth, some
Hmm.
encouragement, and want to provide the same. I have a big goal, a big dream,
Mm,
but just putting it out there, putting themselves out there. And if somebody is not receptive, that's on them and not
right.
on you. And you just keep moving. I think
Yeah.
people are scared they're not going to get a text back. They're not going to hear from the person.
Mm-hmm.
When there's a million things going on the other end, you
Right.
never know what that person is in the middle of or what they're doing. And so just to reach out takes a lot,
Mm-hmm.
to put yourself out there and just acknowledge yourself for reaching out too.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe reach out to two or three people so you're not just waiting on one person.
Right.
So,
Fantastic. Nancy, I love seeing all the things you're doing. I'm so excited. I want to make sure everyone knows where to find you if they're like, I want to know more about this. So, can you tell everyone where to find you on the internet?
yes. So I'm at nancymore.co. That is my website. That is my new Instagram. I still have Sharing Passion and Purpose on Instagram, but that's just specifically the podcast. And
Mm-hmm.
so to share more about my events that I have coming up, other things that are brewing, and then also the podcast will be on nancymore.co.
Fantastic. And this episode is going to go live in early September. And so you have an event. I don't know if it'll be sold out by then, but that's coming up. And you have another one in November. Do you want to mention those?
Well, I think I'm going to have them. I'm working on the details now. And so if people want to get on my email list, they can jump on nancymore.co and they can join my email list. And then they will be in the know about what's going on. And a lot of times I'll send out some specific little specials too, little incentives for people to sign up and purchase tickets. And so that is a great way to get connected with my community.
Perfect. I'll make sure all the links are in the show notes. Nancy,
Thank
thank
you.
you so much for sharing all of this on the podcast today.
Thank you for having me. This has been so great. And I look forward to seeing you in September or before.
Yes. Yes, I hope so.
Okay.
I hope so. Thank you so much, Nancy. And thank you, everyone, for listening to this amazing series that we're talking about accountability. Nancy's story was amazing. And I want you to take that accountable action. I want you to reach out to the person, send the text, send the email, whatever you need to do. Send that message so that you can connect with other people and start achieving more of those goals that are really on your heart. If you've got that passion for it and you know it's time to take action. So take the action and keep being accountable.